once again, all my fellow Patriots, and you filthy, and I mean ever more filthy and disgusting leftist stalkers out there. Welcome back to my channel. Happy 2021. My name is Angela Box. You're watching Angela's Soapbox, where I say, at least for the time being, what you're thinking. But as we've seen in the last few days, the purge is definitely afoot for Patriots. So we're living in extremely perilous times, I think, and it's a scary time for people who believe in the rule of law and who believe in freedom and the Republic of the United States. It's not a joke. There's some very awful things afoot. But before we get into all of that, if you're not subscribed to the channel, I sure would appreciate hit the subscribe bell. I mean, as long I'll be here for the time being. I mean, who knows how long until they memory hole me. But yeah, please subscribe, share my content, and every week on my channel, I like to dedicate a sea turtle killing plastic straw to a filthy leftist. And this week, unfortunately, the straw is not going just to the filthy leftists of the Congress, but also the Republicans who stabbed the American people, ultimately stabbed the American people in the back. So this is for you. Lots to get to. I don't want this to go too long. A lot of people have said a lot of things, but I just wanted to give my 2 cents on what happened this week. We had the Patriots Save America rally, of course, on the 6th, and there was probably 1 million people that showed up. That's extraordinary. And it was like 10 degrees or something in Washington, D.C. And just as President Trump's speech was winding down, and he listed all the election fraud that had taken place. And this is what's so frustrating, is that when leftists say that this is all unfounded, this is all a lie, this election fraud is just disputed, it's fake news. No, it's not. It has not been heard in a court of law. Nothing has been heard in front of any court. They keep rejecting the cases for standing. And my question is, if the American people who voted lawfully don't have standing when people are trying to steal our votes, I don't know what standing is then. So I think everything that the courts have done, that our law enforcement has done, has been absolutely shameful. And, I feel like President Trump, whether you want to believe there's a grand plan or not, I feel like part of his job was to show the world, and certainly show the American people, just how corrupt our institutions have become. And when he says that the swamp is deep and wide, he means Republicans too. And, we had some pretty major Benedict Arnold moments this week. I'm not gonna name the names, because I feel like the AI of YouTube likes to find those and then remove content that way. I've heard that that's what's been going on with some people. But let's just say a certain person reading the electoral votes, I feel like really betrayed us this week. And so did the people who were basically rolled. There was a caller on Rush Limbaugh today. I was just listening to her, and she's from New Jersey, so she'd know. She goes, the Republicans got rolled. Just at the exact time that everyone was starting the debate, and Steve Scalise talked, and Lauren Boebert had talked, and I can't remember, Paul Gosar, I think, was in the middle of speaking, and Jim Jordan had spoken. Great speeches talking about the election fraud, talking about the actual evidence of fraud, so we can get the other Republicans on board, the recalcitrant Republicans, to say, yeah, this is a problem. We need to put a pause on this, have an audit of this vote, send it back to the states, let them do what they need to do, decertify or whatever. There was so many routes that could have been taken to right this wrong, but it wasn't. It wasn't. We have traitors among us, in our own party, in our own ranks. And so as the Republicans started their objections, of course, what happens? Some people who stormed the Capitol, they like to, I guess they did storm it. It was weird. There didn't seem to be a lot of security around the Capitol. Supposed to be the most secure building in our country, probably next to the White House, but yet there was like no barricades. It's a little fishy, I would say. So just as the Republicans were getting going, of course, the mayhem ensued. And there is talk that there was some Antifa and Black Lives Matter infiltrators. I have absolutely no doubt that the majority of the problems we saw were probably from those people. I mean, people scaling walls and, trying to break windows, and then Patriots pulling them down and, basically telling them to stop. The people that did go in the Capitol that weren't causing the problems, that weren't, whatever, they were just walking around taking selfies. Now, I don't think that was the best idea, but I do think that people have been absolutely pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed to the brink. And I feel like what happened on Wednesday was our Lexington and Concord moment of 2021. And I actually wrote an article this week entitled Lexington and Concord 2021. So please check that out on angelasoapbox.com. But there was a young lady who was killed, the Air Force veteran, and another man who had a heart attack. And unfortunately, a Capitol police officer lost his life. So, I mean, it was really an unfortunate turn, because I feel like that we were starting to get make some headway with this fraud investigation, at least getting the information out to the public. But that was the whole point of the sabotage, if it turns out to be sabotage. Again, when you're not really barricading the Capitol and you're allowing people just to walk in, it stinks. It stinks. And they've always said America will not fall from a foreign enemy. It will fall because there's been infiltration from within, and we are absolutely 100% in the midst of that right now. What really makes me so upset, and I was taping my radio show yesterday, Raging Elephants Radio, and I will link that down below when it's available. I was so emotional when I was taping my first segment, because I just read a story about a woman who was a rally goer, and Delta Airlines had denied her the ability to board their plane to fly home. Delta had put her on a no-fly list, basically calling her a terrorist because she was at the rally. And it's just stuff like that just, it made me so emotional. And I feel like that these people are so evil and so without God in their lives. They are going to make our lives a living hell. It's not about uniting. It's not about healing. It's about punishment. And they are going to punish us. And we've now seen the purge of Trump from Twitter for 12 hours, and now he's banned permanently from basically every other social media. Linwood, Sidney Powell have been banned now. There's something afoot here. And I feel like, if these people, and I've said it before, and I'll make a caveat, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I do think there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that we are not privy to. And I just can't believe that, everyone's talking about how Trump conceded last night. I didn't see that as a concession speech. I think if you parse it very carefully, he did not say I concede. He did not say what a lot of the mainstream is saying he said. Now, if it turns out he is exhausted and throws in the towel, I will be extremely demoralized, even more than I am right now. But I just don't see Trump doing that. I think Trump is a fighter. I think he's shown he's a fighter. He fights for us. He fights as we are being defamed, while we are being called terrorists and insurrectionists, which is just outrageously insane, considering that 99.99% of the people there, of the million people, did absolutely nothing wrong but rally and peacefully support the president and peacefully support the rule of law and just want the legal votes counted. They realize that America is on the brink of something horrible, and they were rallying to support our president and support people who are fighting hard. But you know what we found out on Wednesday? We found out that most of the people we thought we could count on are cowards. They're either cowards or they're complicit. That's it. They're either cowards or they're traitors. Which is it? So I'm not even going to name names because, again, I don't want the AI to pick up on anything. But y'all know who I'm talking about. We had, basically Josh Hawley has, and maybe a handful of other senators and Congress people. I'm not going to disregard the bravery of those people. But there's like, that's all we've got. Like, the rest of them just folded. It was unbelievable to watch. Kelly Loeffler, who President Trump tried to get elected but couldn't. Because, well, I think there was fraud in the Georgia election too. Maybe we'll find out about that. Maybe we won't. But she completely stabbed him in the back. Nikki Haley, who everyone is like, oh, she's going to be the next first female president. No, that'll be Senator Knee Pads will be the first female president if this coup is fulfilled. But everyone, the establishment loves Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley is a turncoat, just like the rest of them. Anyway, the point is, Patriots are being defamed over and over and over again. And we are now seeing these people are so desperate to make sure that Trump doesn't drop what I know is a Moab. He can declass every last thing on these people, and they know it. And they are trying so hard to get rid of him at the last minute because they don't want him to be able to declassify everything, drop all the information, and then maybe run again one day. They're scared to death of him. And you know who else they're scared to death of is us. And they sure as hell should be, because we are pissed. We are tired of being defamed, called all the names the leftists call us. We're tired of being canceled, and they're just ramping it up. I mean, for an entire summer, we saw our country being torn apart by these filthy leftists. Burning, assaults, Molotov cocktails, cities being literally burned to the ground. And Antifa's they're just anti-fascist, don't you know? They see what fascism is going on with the Trump administration. Again, what fascism? What fascism? The fascism I see is going on with the left, who are now telling people in New York, they're signing a bill, sending it to Cuomo, that they can lock you up, essentially, if you don't go along with their COVID protocol. Or if you're sick, who do you think they're going to say is sick? Oh, I don't know, maybe all the people who were at the rally. People like you and me. People on Twitter who are getting shadow banned and canceled. And people like this poor lady who can't board a flight to get home. They are deadly serious. And it is a coordinated, strategic, all-encompassing thing that they are doing. Whether it's multinational corporations, academia, big tech, sports, Hollywood, the bureaucracy. They're all coming after you and me. You and me. So don't let Wednesday be the end of anything. Let it be the beginning. Because this is a call to arms. And I hope, sorry, I keep messing with my hair. I'm not wearing the halo today. I'm trying to try something new. I'm not saying I hope we have a hot civil war, but I don't know how we coexist with people like this. People who cheated on such a grand scale. And the thing that I was telling a friend last night, if this was like ambiguous fraud, like maybe it happened, maybe it didn't, I could understand what the Democrats would be doing, like saying, come on, we got to move on, blah, blah, blah. But no, this is tangible, overwhelming, multifaceted fraud that happened on every level and probably in every state. Certainly the states that used a certain voting system. Again, I'm not saying it because of the AI. So, if you want to dig your head in the sand and watch Netflix and get stoned, because you're sick of all this, okay, I get it. I'm sick of it too. But we have a decision to make. We have a republic to save. And as Benjamin Franklin said, Madam, you have a republic if you can keep it. But we are very close to losing that republic. I could go on for another, 20 minutes, but I guess in closing, before I get to a funny little story, I want to urge everybody to not give up and to remember that freedom is worth fighting for and liberty is worth fighting for. And whatever you can do in your own life, whether that's to inform someone, whether that's to share someone's video like mine, everybody has a role to play. We cannot surrender this country to tyrants, vipers, and snakes, and deep state operatives, and the swamp, the underbelly of the swamp, which is ugly. They hate us, and they want to destroy us. So you better gird your loins, America, because it's going to get ugly. Now, I was going to write an article this week about the fat cult, as I call it. They've got the mask cult, and we have the fat cult, which, has been permeating for a few years now, the body positivity movement, wherein they say that being morbidly obese is healthy. And so this week, Cosmopolitan had not one, but two covers that came out this month talking about how being morbidly obese is healthy. Look, I have a theory about this. I think what they're trying to do and what they're being very successful, CCP, whoever is trying to infiltrate this country from within and ruin it. They're creating an entire generation of people who are fat, lazy, and stupid. And, there's nothing like telling someone who's morbidly obese that everything's great and you should totally keep doing what you're doing. No, it'll make them easier to roll over in the end, won't it? So, look, guys, I've gone a little longer than I like to go. I always joke I like to keep my videos under 15 minutes. Yeah, as if. There's so much corruption. There's so many betrayals. And I know that you are like me and you are sad and you are tired and you feel like you can't keep going. But guys, we have to remember the Revolutionary War soldiers who fought in the snow and ice without shoes and socks for our freedom. Being a little uncomfortable if someone says something to you on Twitter or in your personal life, take the risk. Take the risk. This country is worth fighting for. And, if it comes to the point where we are in a hot civil war, I would be willing to die for my country. And I hope you would be too. So, until next week, America, hang on. I pray Trump has something up his sleeve. We'll see. And until then, remember, get in a leftist face because they want to destroy us. And this is not a joke. This is not a drill. I'll see you next week.